Mojoholics, welcome back to What's Your Mojo, the weekly show where we fill you in on what you might have missed last week, give you a sneak peek on what's coming up next week, ask your feedback, and answer viewer FAQs. Now, for all of you celebrating Mother's Day this weekend, here is a friendly reminder to wish your mom a good one. Now, let's get down to it, Mojo Style. In case you missed it, this week we published top 10 movie continuations of TV shows, which kind of fits into our series that includes the top 10 best movies based on TV shows and top 10 worst movies based on TV shows. So if you think every show deserves 6 seasons and a movie, check that one out. And if you like a little bad romance or paparazzi, we also did top 10 Lady Gaga songs. Oh, come off it, you know you like at least one of her songs. Okay, sure, her outfits are nutty, but she does write a great pop song. On Saturday, we've got top 10 dark comedies. So if your humor tends towards the cynical, morbid, and inappropriate, you should probably check it out. If you do, you'll see movies about drug addicts, con artists, wood chippers, and feuding couples. Hilarious! And I know how much you guys dig our series, and we've got another one starting on Monday. Top 10 Alternative Bands. And it just so happens that it coincides with the 20th anniversary of the release of Weezer's Blue album. We're starting out by decade with the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, throwing a couple of reduxes of top 10 punk bands and top 10 grunge bands into the mix, and finishing off the week on Friday with the top 10 alternative bands of all time. That should keep you guys busy and arguing about the definition of alt-rock for quite some time. And if you'd like to vote on what other series you'd like to see in the future, check out the Suggest page. Time for some trivia! Okay. Which 2 celebrities' voices were used to create the voice of the Incredible Hulk in the movie The Avengers? Edward Norton and Eric Bana, Mark Ruffalo and Lou Ferrigno, Mark Ruffalo and Eric Bana, or Stan Lee and Sylvester Stallone? You are of course correct if you said Mark Ruffalo and Lou Ferrigno.
Puny God.
And if you want to Hulk smash your way through some more trivia, head over to WatchMojo.com/trivia. Anyway, I'm talking to you about The Incredible Hulk because May 10th, 1962 is the day the first Incredible Hulk comic was published. So if you can't get enough of the Green Giant, we've got many a video for you. Check out our Origins of the Incredible Hulk, top 10 Marvel superheroes, top 10 split personality movie characters, top 10 superhero duels, top 10 powerful comic book characters, top 10 movie mad scientists, top 10 Marvel movies, top 10 blockbuster film franchises, and top 10 Avengers movie trivia.
No hard feelings, Point Break. You got a mean swing.
Hey, guess what, guys? I have a bonus trivia question this week, and it's for an actual prize. Unfortunately, you can only win if you're located in the United States or Canada. Sorry about that. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, you can win one of 2 20th anniversary Speed 2 packs on Blu-ray if you are one of the first 2 people to answer the following question correctly in the comments. What does Sandra Bullock use as an excuse to switch seats when an annoying guy is talking to her on the bus? Tune in next week to see if you won. Before we ask you your opinions on a few of our lists this week, we thought we'd show you where your hard work can get you. Today we published top 10 Superman villains. Tomorrow we've got top 10 Jailbait songs, and later this month we'll have top 10 underrated kids movies for you. So stay tuned, and thanks again for your help in choosing those lists. But we have even more lists in need of your input this week. To start, top 10 TV witches and wizards. You see, we already have top 10 movie wizards and top 10 old wise men in movies, so now we're focusing on small screen magicians. Make sure to cast your spell for Merlin or Sabrina the Teenage Witch or whichever witch or wizard you like. But please remember, TV only. We're also doing top 10 Sean Bean deaths because Sean Bean dies in everything. And I'm going to stop talking because anything I say would be a spoiler. Except, he gets trampled by cows in one thing and torn apart by horses in another. So you thought Game of Thrones was bad? You ain't seen nothing yet. And don't forget to vote for your favorite Sean Bean death. Also, if you like virtual bands, whatever that means, vote for Top 10 Gorillaz songs. If Clint Eastwood is your number one over Feel Good Inc., better get to voting. Remember in the show a couple weeks back when I said something about top 10 breads and top 10 teas and it kind of seemed like I was kidding? Well, believe it or not, we are doing top 10 sodas. So whether you call them soda, soft drinks, pop, fizzy drinks, carbonated beverages, or whatever, head over to the Suggest page to tell us whether you prefer Coke or Pepsi or Tab. And as our next series, we'll be tackling top 10 comedy movies per decade, which, as you can imagine, is quite an undertaking. So if you want to fight for Tootsie over Ghostbusters in the 80s, or Some Like It Hot over the 7-Year Itch in the 50s, or Anchorman over Old School in the 2000s, then get your asses over to the Suggest pages and lock in your votes. As always, head over to WatchMojo.com/suggest to let us know what you think. And while you're there, make sure to vote on any other lists you might have an opinion on. Hey guys, we're here at the most fun part of the show, the FAQ, where Dan and I sit on this red couch and try to answer the YouTube questions that don't make us want to cry too much. You got a question, Dan?
I do. On YouTube, Bellman asks, all I want from you, WatchMojo.com, is to stop censoring profanity and foul language. It's apparently okay to show someone's head getting severed or, someone getting mauled by a f***ing chainsaw. Just stop.
Well, to be fair, we did publish top 10 actors who swear a lot and we didn't bleep anything out. But Bellman has a valid beef, especially because I really like to swear. Yeah, anyway,
He does.
I do. Whether we like it or not, in American media, the F word is deemed more offensive than explosions, blood, gore,
Nudity.
Unfortunately, that's the reality, as much as I do love a good curse word. However, our reason for bleeping out the F word is twofold.
Well, for one, as we may have mentioned before, we publish to a number of other sites, including Yahoo, MSN, AOL, Hulu, etc., and some of those places prefer that we censor the F-bomb.
We could, in theory, publish 2 versions, but then we'd have less time to publish new videos. And we think if Mojoholics had their say, they'd let us have one clean version for all the partners so that we could focus our resources on publishing new videos.
But there's a bit more to it. Our thinking is that if you're watching a video on a laptop or your big screen TV and there's someone else in another room, they might object to hearing a myriad of F-bombs being dropped in whatever you're watching. So it might be a bit frustrating, but from time to time, we do publish something like Actors Who Swear the Most that doesn't have bleeping in it.
But for the most part, we are going to continue bleeping the F word.
As that sounds.
Watch your f***ing mouth.
Sorry.
Okay, before we get into too much more trouble, more questions that are unrelated, but we're gonna answer all at once.
Joel Sanders asks, how come it's only Rebecca and Dan? What do the other people in Mojo do? Alexander Jordan asks, I am trying to find out the name of a particular piece of music you use in some of your top 10 videos. I would like to use the music for personal use, if that is an option. And many of you have asked, are y'all hiring now?
So, as you've probably guessed, WatchMojo is actually a moderately sized media company with pretty wide reach. And like we've said multiple times in many previous episodes, we're 15 full-timers and 25 part-time freelancers who help research, write, edit.
And of course, we couldn't do what we do without the 50,000 plus WatchMojo Suggest users and the 3.7 million subscribers who keep us honest.
So if each time someone wanted to know the name of a stock music source that we used, we'd have to go and find out which editor worked on a given project, go to them, get them to stop everything they're doing, and find the name of the song, which, as you can imagine, we'd love to do, but we'd end up being hated.
What, you mean even more so than we already are since we're the ones in front of the camera?
We're not hated.
Point being, there are a lot of hardworking people here at WatchMojo HQ without whom none of these videos would be possible. But like any media organization, there's no need to parade every single one of them in front of the camera for just because and no reason.
Dude,
Yeah,
kind of in the middle of something.
in the middle.
And that's why not everyone's on camera. Anyway, if you want to keep an eye out for job openings at WatchMojo, head to our jobs page. And you can also become a WatchMojo Insider or a WatchMojo Fellow. What are those things? I don't even know. Find out on next week's show.
Anyway, guys, thanks as always for the questions. Don't forget to vote on our Suggest page about what FAQs you want to see answered next week.
Yes, and as always, if you want your questions answered, hit us here in the comments, check us out on Facebook or Twitter, or email us at watch@WatchMojo.com. Don't forget the hashtag WMFAQ, and if you want a t-shirt, head over to WatchMojo.com/store.
That's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for another edition of What's Your Mojo. I'm your host, Rebecca, and be sure to subscribe.
I'm your host, Rebecca. Stay classy.